Hey everyone, welcome to today's lesson on how James Bay plays chords. The songs you heard me play in the intro, Wild Love, Let It Go and Hold Back the River, are all perfect examples of what I'm going to be teaching you in today's lesson. And that is how James will usually only take two notes out of every chord he plays. And these are usually the lowest note or the root note and some other note, which will usually highlight the tonality of the chord, meaning is it a major chord or is it a minor chord. I realise that not everyone watching this will be familiar with music theory, so I'm going to try my best to explain this in a way that is accessible for as many of you as possible, whether you're theory literate or not. Let's look at the chord progression to one of James's biggest hits to date, Hold Back the River. Here are the full chords, and bear in mind that this is not James's guitar part on the record. We'll get to that soon enough. For all of the chords with their lowest note or the root note on the low E string, James will pick that note and he'll also pick a note on the G string as well. So let's take the first chord, B minor, as an example of this. There's a basic B minor bar chord. James will pick the lowest note, which in this case is the root note, B, and he'll also pick the minor third, D, which is on the 7th fret of the G string. So out of all the notes in this chord, he's only picking the root and the minor third. Now, those of you that don't know anything about music theory will probably be wondering what I meant when I said minor third. So I'm going to give you a brief explanation of what that means right now. But if you're someone who already understands intervals and knows what they are, feel free to skip ahead to the timecode displayed on screen now. An interval is the space between two notes. And in the context of chords, an interval is always measured from the root note. B is the root of the B minor chord. The intervals of a B minor chord are derived from a scale, and this is the natural minor scale. So the natural minor scale is a 7-note scale. It sounds like this. So that's what it sounds like. I'm going to play that again, and as I play it, I'm going to count out loud the intervals as I play them. Root, major second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh. So the third note that I played there was the minor third. This note here, which is the note D. And the reason it's called a third is because you count alphabetically in your head from the root note. So think to yourself, B, C sharp, D, 1, 2, 3. B, C sharp, D, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, third. Why is it called a minor third and not a major third? Well, major third intervals do of course exist, but if you had a major third interval in this chord instead of a minor third interval, then it would be a B major chord. But we're not playing a B major chord here, we're playing a B minor chord, so take that major third and lower it by a semitone and we have a minor third. If you want to know more about what makes chords major and minor, then go and watch a video I made called the Hendrix-Frusciante Triad Trick. I provide a brief explanation in that video. But if you want a really solid grasp on fundamental music theory that you can apply to your guitar playing, if you want to know how chords and scales are constructed and be able to use that knowledge and apply it to your playing to become a better player rather than simply learning it and forgetting it, if you want to be able to do that, then check the link in the description. I have 50% off coupons for my online course, Bulletproof Guitar Player. And for the next two chords in the progression, James does the same thing. Lowest note on the E string and a note on the G string. So the second chord is a slash chord. A major over C sharp. So that basically means you've got an A major chord, but instead of having A, the root note, be the lowest note or the bass note of the chord, you add another C sharp an octave lower on the 9th fret of the low E string. Hence A major over C sharp. So James picks this lowest note, which is the C sharp, and he also picks this note on the G string, which is the note E, and that is functioning as the 5th of A major. The third chord is D major, so you just pick the lowest note, which is the root, and the major third, which is on the 11th fret of the G string. Now, another thing that James will sometimes add to his chords when possible is the use of an open string. So he does this right at the start of Hold Back the River, actually. So when you pluck that first B minor chord, those two notes here, you actually add in this open D string. So that sounds like this. And notice there how I let that open D string ring out into the next two chords. That provides a nice sort of drone effect. So anytime you're playing a chord that has a possible open string note in it, whether it's A, E, D, G, or B, try and experiment with adding that into the chord and you might come up with some interesting sounds. Moving on, James will use the same technique for chords that have their lowest note or the root note on the A string. So in the next part of the progression that goes like this, which comes directly after, he doesn't play this, instead he does this. So that first chord there is another slash chord, it's D major over F sharp. Some of you might have recognized the name of that chord before because it looks like this in its open string version, but we're playing it up here. So D major over F sharp. F sharp is the lowest note, so James will pick that on the A string, and then he'll pick the 5th on the B string, so the 5th of the D major. So F sharp and A, the bass note and the 5th. Then moving on to the G major chord, he just picks the root of that chord and the major third on the B string. So that's pretty much it as far as the chords go for Hold Back the River. There is an A major chord down here. But if you want to really learn that first intro bit, then you can go back and rewatch the part with the tab on screen. But the intention of this lesson was not simply to teach you a guitar part to a song. It's for you to understand how to take this information and apply it to your own music, or even just songs that you like to cover. For example, the Shawn Mendes track, There's Nothing Holding Me Back, that also makes use of this same technique. So if you've learned any pop or rock songs lately and you want to put a bit of a spin on it, then try looking at the chord progression and applying this technique to it. And with that being said, I want to leave you with this to go home and practice with. And this is basically a fretboard guide that outlines all of the chords in the key of D major. So that was it with the root on the A string. Now let's look at it with the root on the low E string. Thanks very much for watching this video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up below and click subscribe for more content like this in the future.